Marcus McGee was in here just a few minutes ago, and he was saying that he was very surprised or super excited as well when he got your name. How about you? What was your reaction when you got Marcus McGee? Were you surprised that it was someone a lot lower ranked?
Hello, everyone again. Really, I'm just glad that the fight was made. From what I understood, there was nobody in the top 5 that was ready to fight, at least. I kind of wanted to fight in June, but to be honest, to me, there's no difference in who I fight. Just give me an opponent and I'll be ready.
Who did you initially have in mind?
So they offered me a fight with Umar Nurmagomedov recently, which would have been in Baku in Azerbaijan. And I accepted the fight, but for whatever reason, the Nurmagomedov team, they refused the fight. So the next best option for me was to come here to Abu Dhabi and have this fight.
And what do you think of Marcus McGee after you've gotten a chance to check out his fights? What do you think of his fighting style? He likes to stand and trade and has got very good boxing as well.
Yeah, he's a guy on a win streak. He's kind of an awkward fighter. He's an unusual fighter. His style is different, maybe even a little bit inconvenient or uncomfortable. But other than that, I don't see any superpowers coming from this guy. So I'm just going to go in there and paint my own picture in the fight and make it happen that way. Hopefully it works out.
Do you feel like with a win, the title shot is next for you? Because a lot of people felt like you should have fought Merab in the last title fight.
I definitely hope for that. I think it'll be deserved. There's no guys ranked higher than me that deserve it more than I do. So I'm looking forward to this Saturday. I hope I get a good, solid victory so I can undoubtedly secure my spot for the title.
What did you think of Sean O'Malley's performance against Merab?
It was the expected story, having seen the first fight. When Sean's in there with Merab, he has nothing to offer him. From my understanding, the UFC is just trying to squeeze out all the value they can get from Sean because they invested in so much in him at this point.
Yeah, and you tweeted after the fight, like, back of the line, like, this is what happens when you don't earn your opportunity. Is the rematch with Sean something you're interested in having at least before your career's over, or are you past that?
At the moment, no. At the moment, it's not interesting to me. I already have my plans for the title. If somehow in the future it works out for the both of us and it makes sense, then yeah, that's a different question. Y'all saw the tweet that Sean put out talking about how he looked at himself a little different now, saying that he needs to change his appearance and stuff. All the tattoos, the pink hair, the pink glasses. You know, it's really great that he finally woke up to that and saw it and is trying to make a change.
Okay, one more for me. The next title fight has been announced, Merab against Corey Sandhagen. How do you see that fight playing out? You fought both guys.
That's an interesting fight. I'm going to watch with a lot of excitement. I'm very excited, by the way, to be the backup for that fight. But either way, I think Merab is going to be able to put on his crazy pressure, crazy tempo. But also, Corey is a very interesting fighter. He's very good. So we'll see. Corey also has a chance to get that win.
Sorry, one more. What would you do differently if you were to rematch Merab?
That fight's interesting to me, you know, just for myself personally. I understand that in that fight, I only threw my right hand like 4 times. There was a lot of things that I wasn't able to show in that fight.
Marcus was here earlier today, and he said that in his game, he's got keys and possibly a way to find to knock you out. What would you say to him?
I'll go ahead and repeat this quote again. The soldier that doesn't want to be a general is a bad soldier. You know, he believes in himself. He believes in himself and in his skills, but guess what? I also do too. So he might think he's got the keys to knock me out, but it's just not going to work for him.
If you ask anybody, they probably will agree that you're probably the toughest, the hardest puncher in your division, but you haven't had a finish since 2020. How would you explain the fact that you haven't been able to find a finish?
I've also watched back a lot of my fights, and I understand that I've become a little bit more careful and not quite so aggressive when it comes to my pressing and my pressure. You know how there's a lot of guys with that constant boxing pressure always right in front of their opponent. But it is what it is. A victory is a victory. It's always great to get a victory, and if it's a decision, that's fine as long as it's an interesting fight and it's not questionable, the decision that I won.
And also, we know you as a fighter that sometimes comes out not 100%, maybe with injuries and non-injuries. Can we say that this time around you were 100% and everything went well and there's no injuries in preparation?
Well, I can't say that I've always come out with injuries. You know, there's been a lot of times, too, where everything was great. Right now, too, everything's great. I feel ready. I've been a little bit bored. I'm super ready to show what I'm capable of.
A lot of people consider you to be the best boxer. Now there's a conversation about Ilia Topuria coming in, him being the best boxer. What kind of qualities do you have to possess in order to garnish that name as the best boxer in the UFC?
I don't really know how to determine who you call the best boxer, but I guess if anybody does deserve it, you could say that Ilia does. And there's a lot of guys that do. But especially him, you know, showing the results of his fights. He knocks people out. Fights don't go the distance. I'm not really striving to have some title, who does the best this or that, or to even be some kind of like famous champion. That's up to y'all to decide and discuss it among yourselves who's worthy of it.
Ты в прошлом в Омске работал охранником в нашем клубе. Просто интересно, прошел бы твой личный фейс-контроль МакГи, человек с необычной внешностью?
I used to work as security in a club, and just wondering if you were still working security, would you let somebody that looks like McGee into your club?
I wouldn't let you or McGee in the club.
Abdulashvili is fighting quite often. He's fought already. October is going to be the third time that he's fighting this year. A lot of times they say after a certain run like that a champion might need to take a little bit of a break. Have you thought about the possibility that if you do get the victory, that the next time you have an opportunity to fight him would have to be all the way in the spring?
I think after this fight, everything will be perfectly clear on what to do next when it comes to organizing fights and, you know, who wants what. So he might take some time, but I'll take mine too and get fully ready for that fight.
Umar Nurmagomedov said that Merab doesn't really have all that much skill. It's just that he's got this rough toughness and the strength. So if you look at skill for skill, he doesn't have too much, but somehow whatever strength and whatever skills that he possesses seems to be enough to keep in the championship. So what would you say about him as his skills?
I don't really agree because let's say one fighter, he can knock everybody out with just one strike, but he has no other skills, but he's beating everybody. Well, then that one strike is outskilling everybody else's skills. So I don't really agree with that. And you can't say that you have more skills than him if you didn't beat him. Umar also can't say that he's some type of like super well-rounded fighter. So a lot of people think that when you were 27, 28, that was like the peak of your career, the peak of your physical abilities. Khabib has a theory that there's no second peak in a fighter. What do you think about that? Yeah, that's just a theory of Khabib. You know, maybe that's why he retired early and didn't keep fighting. Do you physically feel like you're close to your peak abilities now, or do you think you haven't even made it to your peak yet, based on your feelings? You know, how do you really determine whether you're at your peak or not? Do you feel it? Do you show it? Do you prove it? I think that I have everything required to make it to that peak.
Are there things that you were able to achieve when you were 27, 28 and a champion that were easier for you to achieve than at your current age now?
I think that my approach is just a little bit more professional than it was when I was 27, 28. It's all very important. Train properly, heal. Doing all those things the right way is what's going to extend your career.
You know, a lot of the fighters think that in order to keep their place in the rankings or in order to be able to be the next person to fight for the title, you need to be fighting somebody who's close to you in the rankings, right? And so they don't want to fight up at all or fight somebody who is not ranked. You and other fighters, however, are ready to fight anybody, whether they're close rankings than you or whether they're not ranked at all. And you still get the chance that you get, and other fighters still get that chance that you get. Where do you think this came from, the fact that, the fighters really want to hold on to their ranking and not fight anybody who's outside the ranking?
Well, of course, you're going to always want to fight with guys that are highly ranked, especially when you've already made it there yourself. But I also understand that sometimes there's not any options of people to fight. Somebody's busy, somebody's hurt, somebody's not ready. I just want to be active. I want to fight while I have my health and while I have time.
Your opponent is a knockout artist. He's known to knock people out. Do you think we'll see a firefight between the two strikers, like back in the day when Petr Yan used to be striking really hard and knocking people out? Do you think we'll see a fight between two strikers that are willing to go all the way to knock each other out?
If it works out in that way, of course I'm going to try to get the knockout. I have the skills for that. I have the skills to get the win in other ways. So we'll see. I think it's going to be interesting.
I know that you're here with your family. I know Nikita Krylov also brought his wife and his son here. Some fighters do that, some fighters don't. Is it something that is helping you to get yourself ready for the fight? And in the day of the fight, will you have the time to maybe play with your kids, or will you be more away from them just to get concentrated on the fight itself?
So during this whole thing, they live on their own in a separate place, so they're not bothering me in any way. I have two sons. They really wanted to come and watch. For me, it's motivation. It's good support. It's definitely not like a drag or a drain on me. I think it's the other way around. To me, it's like I'll get a lot of energy from them in the fight, on the day of the fight. So no matter what, I always remember the reason why I'm doing this, why I'm here. And my family, my sons, for me, they're the main motivation. I was born and raised in a village with a bunch of siblings, 8 siblings. I mean, just imagine. When I was 15 years old, I left 1,000 miles from home, and 2.5 years I didn't come back home. Even me, myself, I also have a very unique and interesting story. Looking at my work, what I'm here doing, my family, my brothers, my sisters, I'm just very proud. I feel very inspired, and I'm very thankful for my fate that it allows me these opportunities. We as fighters all need to understand that we are being examples for teenagers and kids. And I want to be a good example for them. I think that's a very worthy cause.